I introduce Professor Sunday Ododo, here present.
Of you can have engagement with them and others. Participants enjoy presentation and panel conversation. With them, we pay TV telecoms with local streamers registering their presence with active participation and engagement. Yesterday, and just as we did last year as well, we had an over-the-top streaming training for emerging content creators where participants were empowered as directed by President Muhammad Buhari. We empower them with Android phones, a little grant, and some few equipment, which the grant is like a seed fund to aid their creative drive, enhance research, and support their basic production and distribution need. We call all of you next year, especially the professional associations, heads and gates. We need to support this. The reality on ground is, if we don't teach them in a decent way on how to retire us, they will retire us by force. So we need to be involved in their growth. In the same vein, and as the shift from traditional to digital content consumption and the operations of local and international.
Wearing two caps, I'm here to represent my boss, Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, and I'm in my own personal capacity as the Commissioner for Tourism, Arts and Culture here in Lagos State. I recognize all our partners because we cannot do it alone without having the support of all the necessary partners. So thank you so much. And our stakeholders in the industry, our government. I am delighted to join the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and the Executive Director, Chief Executive Officer of the National Film and Video Censors Board, Alhaji Adedayo Thomas, at the second edition of the Nigeria Digital Content Regulation Conference taking place here in Lagos. The role that the National Film and Video Censors Board plays.
Our stakeholders from the government side, our stakeholders from industry, friends, fans of Netflix, we are grateful that this sort of gathering has turned out this morning to have what we feel will be very valuable engagements for us. I'll first of all clarify a little bit what our intention here is today. We believe at Netflix that we're a learning organization. Calendar year now since we first came and had an engagement. There are things that have happened. We want to update you on some of those things. There are things that are in the pipeline coming. We want to talk about some of those things. But most importantly, we want to hear from you. And without much further ado, I think I'll just go into the presentation. I'll try to make it quick. Everybody knows, potentially, that Netflix is present in 190 different countries. So we love Nigeria, and it's been a pleasure to be here in Nigeria. Service available since 2016. We're also present in another 189 other countries. The opportunity is large in our view because we have access to over 220 million sets of eyeballs viewing the stories that we tell in the Netflix service. Your stories, Nigerian stories, so no pressure. Countries, Brazil, Canada, UK, US. Who has seen this, please?
Yes, what are we looking for? The content team, people are always asking us that question, what are we looking for? Yeah, we buy a lot of content, we commission content. Scripted titles, series and films are driving a lot of the viewing on our platform. We also have unscripted series and film or documentaries that are coming onto the platform more and more. and we're seeing that there's an opportunity there. So yeah, so we have various genres that people love watching on our platform. Comedy, Nigerians love comedy. More on that coming through on the action front. And mystery thrillers and crime titles work quite a lot. So that's something that
we need to resonate deeply at home with the local audiences, and in doing so, they travel. Right, that's what makes them travel, and they travel, like we've just seen on the previous slides, far and wide. Aniko Labo and Eshlin Oba are perfect examples of this. Loved locally and then watched around the world. As Ben said, it kind of demonstrates what we believe in Netflix.
And then on scripted and doc side of our business for Africa as well. And then we have, on a broader basis, we have animated, original series team and film team. So yeah, move on to the next one. Yeah, so it's great for us to show all those slides where we are, in 24 countries. These titles travel, but really we want our shows to really connect with Nigerians and the broad Nigerians, not just one set of Nigerians. We want to, cut across. We want to go have titles that resonate, different regions of the country, different languages. You'll see we're going heavily more into local language titles. We think that's the future of our growth in this.
We work through partnerships, and we also provide job trainings, either with master classes or on the job through our productions. We're also doing class-based education. Can you go back? And then the last pillar is something that started last year, which is the Fund for Creative Equity, which I'll talk about on the next slide. Thank you. So there are two key team members on this team. We have Allison, who manages Grow Creative for Africa. And we also have Tanya Malik, who's working on the Creative Equity Fund. So like I mentioned at the beginning, Grow Creative is really about filling the gaps in our talent pipeline to make sure that we can hire the people that we need for our productions and that we're upskilling professionals.
After 9/11, it has moved to the center of security challenges all over the world. That is why, if you ask any Nigerian, the biggest security challenges, especially in the north, is terrorism, like Boko Haram, ISWAP, Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab, and others all over Africa. Meanwhile, the offshoot of terrorism is X-men killing, kidnapping, and so on and so forth. And all of
as well. Yeah. I recognize this. They are movers and shakers of the industry. So I give it to our women. But then I was always nervous, because I thought that more women should be represented in the industry across board. I'm happy that is beginning to happen. Take my latest project like I worked successfully with Judge.
The first person to make $50 million
for Nigeria, and then the line producer was Toyin, and all of a sudden I realized that
that's woman power. We are powerful.
Principal,
I think it's unfair.
You guys have been making money since not gonna allow us make small.
About gender, doesn't mean that, for instance, I was additional anchoring all women, and the material we adopted is
go to Mnet, women.
So for me, it's not
women.
Are you guys jealous?
normal.
Who they watch film pass?
Women.
I
said this in Gambia. It's a woman's industry. We just the bully and say.
But now una bully us. Now we no bully women.
Una no want it. Una no want it. And all true women have always been there.
That's
in America.
What are they agenda?